Hello everybody out there, this is Utsav Singh from Smart Tech and welcome back to the Advanced Landscape Creation Part 2. And the things I'm going to cover today is the main material setup. I'm going to cover various different layer types, weight blended layers, non-weight blended layers, some landscape nodes, and some cool blending techniques, etc. So let's get started right away. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is right click and make a material. I'm gonna name it master. So now I'm gonna go to mat functions and select these three material functions that we created in the part 1. And if you haven't watched the part 1, just go ahead and check it out on my channel, and arrange them from 1 to 2 to 3. My base is rock and I've named it 1 accordingly. So out of the result, I'm going to drag out and name it and make a break material attribute node. So what this node is going to do is give us access to um, all the values that we have in here, these 4 values, right? So I'm gonna do this for my base color. So what I want to do is have a rock, and on top of it my sand layer will be blended. For that I'm just going to press Ctrl L, I mean Shift L or Caps Lock L or whatever, to create a lerp or linear interpolate. What this linear interpolate is going to do is it is going to blend between two values based on a third value. I'll show you. Wait. In the element tool, and make sure this base color is in the A, because A serves as the base and on top of it the B will be blended, right? Again, break material attributes, here you go, base color. Now in this case, zero point 0.5 and zero point 0.5, it will be like rock, and in the middle of the sphere there will be line, and on top of it my sand, right? But I want to control that line. I want to move it up and down, and I want to control the blend sharpness or smoothness. What I want to do is take it out of the alpha, and what I want to do is search for world aligned blend. World aligned blend, it will create a kind of a gradient. I'll just show you. So I'm gonna use two values in here. Now I want to input in two values. What are those two values is bias and sharpness. I'll just show you. Hold S to create a scalar parameter so that we can use these values later on, edit these values later on, right? I'll just sharpness and bias, and this is the sharpness, right? Element 3 and no, element 1 and 2 sharpness. Drag back a bit, and default value I will get a 12, and element 1 and 2 bias. This is now, as you can see, I have this crease here. Now I can change the location of this. In the white areas the sand will be there, okay? So I want to change, if I want to, the bias will control the up and down position, the z position of the squeeze, and the 1 and 2 sharp, the sharpness will control how sharp this blending area is. If it is completely sharp, it will just be an there will be no complex blending between those textures, right? I'm gonna do stop previewing node. What was that about? Okay, so now I'll just hold and press L to create another loop, and in this case this will serve as my base, this value, and on top of it I want to add moss. So I'm just gonna go ahead and search something like break material attributes, right? I love the material node system, and put this in here, make some space here, put this up, keep it all aligned, at least try to, and just select this and press Ctrl W to duplicate, put this into alpha, and just remove the underscore ones, and in here what you want to do is base and 3, base capitalized A Y, base and 3 base again. So now this is going to serve as my base color value, but I won't be able to paint it or anything in my landscape as of it. So what I want to do is right click in the narrator and search for landscape layer blend. Cool, put this in a base color. Now you can see there are no inputs, you have to add an array element, and I'm gonna name it base layer. Now the most important thing to notice is the blend type. So this blend type has 3 options. The weight blend will be like just a simplistic blend between 2 textures. There will be no let's just say, like if you have a sand and then a rock, there will be a complete crease, a bright line between those two. There will be no complex blending. In the alpha it would work almost like the weight, but what it will be do is like if you have a grass and on top of it you paint the snow, and when you remove the snow it would let me just say the grass will be visible when it, and the third is height. It will give a more complex blend, sorry about that, and the height will give you a more complex blending based on a height value or height map if you have it. I'm gonna do it layer based. I'm gonna use the height blend. So I need this height value. What I'm gonna do is first go ahead, I'm gonna select all this and press C to comment, and I'm gonna name it base color. Do something like that. Again, whoa, what was that? Select this much, not that node, because you see I'm gonna have a mask again here. That's why I'm using it, so that I can add paintability of the mask and the base layer. But my roughness and normal values will stay constant with the base color. Based on if there is a mask, then use that particular roughness value for it, right? So instead of blending between base colors, I want to blend between roughness in here, and I'm going to do roughness, and I want to remove those underscores so that the variable names remain the same in base color and roughness. Sharpness, bias, yet again put this into my roughness, and well, here you go. Now all you need to do is, I don't need the landscape layer blend node because I'm gonna have a constant value based on on the roughness value that is being blended. And the reason I'm removed the underscore is that whenever this value changes here, this value will also change, so that if I don't want to have the roughness of rock on my moss. Okay, so I've set up my roughness, just select this, Ctrl W, and wow, again let me just select this, oh man, let me see, element 1, and what is it connected to this? Yes, it is connected to that, and just do this. Now my roughness, I'm gonna do normal, select normal here, sharpness underscore 1 here, instead remove the underscores like before so that we have a constant value. bias again, remove the underscores, make some space here. Now I'm just using holding control to do this. If you have like multiple connections, you can move all the connections to a different node, a pretty handy technique. Let me scroll out and then scroll in normal. Right now we have this error and it is being created in the world aligned plane. So all you need to do, since it is normal with explicit normals, simple, right? Okay, so I have my normal, I have my roughness, I have my base color all set up. Now what I want is to set up now, as you can see, it is completely black. Why is that happening? You would have noticed a preview weight value, so you are gonna need to add a preview weight value so that we can we can preview the material value in this sphere. Don't it won't affect my level, but it would affect this material sphere. So I created a new layer now and I'm gonna name it mask. I'm gonna keep it at weight blend because it is just going to be go on top of my landscape layer. So I'll just go to my material functions. I had already created a material function, where's it, material and textures material function, and open up and just press 3 and 1 to create these values. Opacity will go into opacity and the 3 constant will give it a color of black, and I'm gonna apply this. Okay, so I have this here material, cool. So I'm just gonna hold F, left click, unspecified function, search for mask, the one I have named here, and again all you need to do is break material attributes, right, and simply plug this into my layer mask. This will serve as my mask. Cool, I'm a black colored layer here that will serve as my mask. So what I need to mask is my procedure generation, so that, and now in my height value, remember that I'm gonna use my normals. I would prefer using a height map if I had one, but since I don't, I will just use the normal values. Just press and hold C and name this procedural generation, right? You can give different colors to it if you want. Just make it a little bit bigger. Right click and search for landscape grass output. This is going to be my main material. Okay, I mean not the material, sorry, the main node that will generate, and I'm gonna name this base layer. You can name it whatever you want, but I prefer clear. Now what I want to do is I don't want grass on my rock or sand. I only want it on my moss layer. So remember this node will create a white and black gradient, right? So I want the white values in it because it defines the places where moss is. And I'm just gonna drag it in here. Set this into my base layer. And all you want to do is now subtract the mask out of it so that it only generates based on my where neither my mask it only generates on my moss, but it will remove the places where I've painted my mask layer, right? So what you need to do is subtract, and just let me make some space here. Layer sample, landscape layer sample. Now what is the name here? Mask. Same thing has to be typed in here, parameter name, because so what it is going to do is take the UV values from in here and out of that subtract the places where the layer mask has been painted and put this into grass output. But first I need to make sure that my sand is very less visible here. I'll change that soon enough, don't worry. Now I want to make sure that only on my mouses it is being generated, right? So again, subtract. I need to subtracts in here. um Let me just scrunch this up a bit. From here I'll need some space in between there. Okay, so all you need to do is take the space color. Well, remember this is sand. I'm just gonna minus it from my UV. Again, go ahead and do it for the rock. Base color. Done, right? Now if I create my vegetation asset, that I will just show you guys how to do it in a minute. So I will have to do for grass light density to be 700 to create just a basic looking grass with something like, believe me or not, I'll just show you an small example. This is around this has around a density of 700 right now, and it looks bad. It completely looks procedurally generated, right? So I want to add an overall control of the generation. So all I need to do is multiply out of this, hold s for a scalar parameter, put this in here and name it foliage density. Sorry about that. And I want to make sure the default value is 1, and just so that if the user goes something like 50 or 60, that shouldn't happen. All I need to do is clamp that value to make sure that it stays between 0 and 1. Clamp it. Okay, so base layer, and well, I am pretty sure we are done with it. And let me just apply this. Now there is some stuff we still need to do. First thing, right click, create material instance and press it. Go to my landscape and master. I'll just delete this one. Don't worry about that, you won't have that right now. Sorry about that. I'll just let compile the shaders. Till then I will show you how to create the vegetation system, right? That is important. Go to miscellaneous, landscape grass type, and name it something like master underscore alc underscore vegetation. Simple. I'm gonna press the plus button and I'm just gonna go and search for grass. I'm using the kite demo right now, so I have this SM field grass right now. And now there are two important values in here. See this grass density, it will just control your grass density. Now the start cull distance and end cull distance, it basically the start cull distance will define the value when the instances of the object of this mesh will start to fade, and end cull distance is the distance from the camera when they would have completely faded out. As you can see, you just need to hover and it will be there. Simple. Now as you can see, it has compiled the shaders, but it is still black. And why is that? All you need to do is go to a paint, and I'll just remove this. Again, I have forgotten one thing. You always need to make sure that, oh okay, it is right there, master inst, oh that's one, your base layer, no landscape layer should have a space in between. That is important. Cool. I'll just cross this out. I want to delete this layer. Thank you. Let me again reapply this. Now as you can see, it has updated the name. Now what you need to do is left click and weight blended layer. So the weight blended layer is gonna say, like, for every pixel every pixel will have a value 255 or 1 or something like that. So if I paint something like rock and then sand, it will say like um, give half of the dominance to rock and half of the dominance to sand based on the tool strength of the paint you have used. And the base layer I would use with blended layer is main level shared assets. As you can see, it shows me that it already exists because, well, I have recorded this video a hell lot of times now. So all I need to do is select this, it would create this file and it would automatically assign this. As you can see here, it is all of a sudden it is there, but it is only grass and we are gonna fix that soon enough, don't worry. Now mask layer info, and if I would just want to delete this, first delete, because I don't want any confusions. Now in this, what you want to do is use a non-weight blended layer, because the non-weight blended layer will just go on top and won't remove the base layer if I paint it on the mask, but it will work. Now, wow, why does it have to go black every time I paint it? Failure. Till then, go to my landscape materials. Remember this, it was completely moss because the dominance is not set properly. So what you usually want to do is have like this much part to the rock, a little bit to a little bit to the sand, and a little bit to the moss. So what you want to do is I want to expose these parameters. 1:2 bias, I want more rock just the way it is, cool. And basin 3 bias, right, I want to decrease it, so just that bit of my moss and that bit of my sand. And let me just go ahead and reapply this. As you can see, it is visible now. Of course you can just go ahead and, well, it knows how to be tiled, right? Now I have added some stuff in here, and what is it is this tiling system was not quite working for my landscape layers, so I added a switch just the way I was shown in my part 1, and added a value, bool value, and added a landscape coords node, landscape layer coords, this one. All you need to do is edit the mapping scale in here so that you can control the tiling just the way I'm doing it in here and in here. Same method all the way around. Now on with my vegetation, right? I have already set and made this, shown you guys how to do that. Let me open up my master, and till then I will just close these material functions, don't want too much in the background, and go ahead in this, you might have noticed this class type. Just select this and press this here, apply, and you are done with your master material, guys. It is done. I'll just show you what the mask layer does. Come on, load up. Master instance. Let me reapply this stuff. Shouldn't take much time, but let's see. Till then I'll press the save all button because, well, that is very important. Now as you can see, my grass is styling pretty well. iron my moss. But my rock and sand. What's up with you two? Maybe I should go ahead again. Yeah, better now. But still, as you can see here, this maybe all I need to do is go ahead. Hey, wait, where is my master? Um, in this, I have set the preview weight to 1. That is okay. Let me close this. I don't need that anymore. Oh, it is because of this. All I need to do is turn off these values. So turning off those values will expose these tiling values that I really don't need. So what I'm gonna do is go ahead and put this back to normal. Cool. So my base and 3 bias, what do I do with you? I need to have even less sand. So I will just decrease my sand value to just that bit, so that now my rock is much more visible, right? Oh, now I understand. I have eroded this whole valley quite a lot, so it has created bumps and it is gonna have those sand values there. If I go ahead and do something like smooth or something, it should affect right away. Whoa, what happened to that? Textures are just being processed, but as you can see, my vegetation will only grow. It won't go up to my rock or anything, right? And that's what you need. Let me go ahead and sculpt a bit. Do some. Let me just do that. Let me reapply this material. No, that's better. Looks better. Let me do something like create. Go ahead, let me do something like erode it a bit. Erosion is omnipresent. You always gotta do it everywhere, no matter what. And I'm gonna just smooth it out a bit. Instant effect on those areas there. Now I'll just go ahead and show you what my masking here does. Now let's see. Let me go near where my grass is. Here you go. This is my grass, right? All you need to do is paint this mask layer. For the first time, it is going to compile shaders, but after that you will be able to print pretty much seamlessly. If I go ahead and clear layer right now, it will stop compiling shaders. Let me just stay focused on that area so that I don't lose it. Now you would notice something like only some small part of the grass will go away, and that is because, well, my tool strength here is 2.3. If I do something like 1, then that will create like kind of a, it will just remove the grass from there completely, from that particular area. 29 minutes. Let's see how far compiling shaders. It doesn't usually take this much time, but well, I'm recording, so it is going to take this much time again. As you can see, a little bit of a clearing has been made in here, and the moment I press something like hold shift and left click, it will generate again and get back all those grasses that I lost. If I crank up the tool strength to 1, and well, I paint it, and as you can see, due to the black color, a little bit of clearing, and it looks good, you know. And well, here you go. It is going up there, but it will fade out just a little bit up here. Now you can create custom effects with this, you know. So what you can do is say, hey, I want only my rock and my grass. So what do I do? What you do is completely remove your sand. So hey, no sand, and that also looks good, right? But let's just say you want something like sand and grass, which is very unnatural, but hey, you can achieve that as well. And now let's just say you want rock and sand, but no moss. How do I do that? I just take that down. Let me give rock more dominance. Oh, again, just a little bit on the sand side, and that also looks amazing. Now I'll just reset those values, get it somewhere around here. 1 and 2 again, get it up here by moving the values to negative. Sharpness will control the blending sharpness here and there. It won't just, oh, I moved it up a little too much. Something like that will go a long way. And it is completely automatic, and you can mask and whatnot. If you build over it, you can create a very advanced system. And if you like light the scene up a bit, maybe add water and stuff, you can create an awesome looking scene. I'll just show you an image. I will have it saved somewhere here. Let me see, let me open this up. Where is it? ULM saved, screenshots, windows. Here you go. Just light up the scene a bit. Of course, I'm gonna cover the lighting and stuff in the future parts. The Windows Photos application is very slow. Now, the background is this, and here you see. These are the mountains that you can create with erosion and all that. This is the sand and rock. I created a few layers like moisture and stuff, and that is why it is so glossy in this case. And the rocks are getting a bit glossy there, the water reflecting, atmospheric fog, exponential height fog and whatnot, and well, that will help it make it look good. So I'm gonna cover all that stuff in the future parts, and well, here you go. And there is one more thing I would like to cover, is my foliage density. These values cover, these are the base values, and you can get your roughness map, etc. from these. Don't worry. Now my foliage density. Let me do something like that, dry it up a bit maybe, and I'll just do a 2 in here, and it would increase the density tremendously. If I do a 6, as you can see, foliage density right here. Wow. Or am I missing something? It is giving me a very less effect that, down there. Let me see, I have my master material here, but I have, let me see, I have ultimate landscape material in there. Let me open this up. Shouldn't take long. Twin system. Yeah, that is how I do it. Oh wow, that's the problem there. That is the main mistake that I made. Okay, so you want the user to edit. Now if I set this to max to 1, it is gonna say, hey, since you have set the max to 1, you can go ahead and say 2, and still it will be like somewhere like 0.91 or something. I really don't know about that value, but what I want to do is let the user control the all the value that he wants. Then I want to clamp that value, the final value, to 0 and 1, so that my grass node doesn't go crazy. That's the teeny tiny mistake that I made. My master instance here. Good thing that I covered it right now. Now when you cover use this foliage density, now it would have an it would be a visible effect, much more visible than the last one. Let me save all. Don't worry, the compiling shaders have not stopped. It would just update after the saving is complete here. Saving. 37 shaders left to compile. I'll just press the browse button here and plug this in here again. Oh wow, I'm a fool. God. I have my 3 little sad. Now as you can see, it is generated good enough. Now what I want to do is control the foliage density, and I'll do something like 2. As you can see, instant effect. If I do 1, less generation, filler. Again, UE4 landscape is bugged as hell. I don't know why. If I do something like 5, as you can see, it gets dense, and I can change that overall density. Okay, so hope you enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, guys. Make sure to like the button if you like the video, and if you want to get updated about my new videos, make sure to press the subscribe button as well, and press the bell icons so you can get notified on your phone or whatever Android or iPhone you are using. Doesn't really matter, does it? So goodbye until next time. Keep creating.